Daniel Bryan had recently broke his silence on all the stuff that has been coming his wife Brie Bella's way since we had that botch spot, that accident that had went down with Brie Bella taking on Liv Morgan, 2 kicks to the head, 2 kicks to the face basically, and Liv Morgan knocked out cold, just unconscious, blacks out. Right. So Daniel Bryan put a couple of tweets out there on Monday, which had began with him writing, "I am proud of how strong my wife is. After accidentally injuring Liv Morgan last week, the first time Brie's ever hurt another performer. She's been subject to a constant barrage of social media attacks. Almost every wrestler has accidentally hurt someone, but rarely do you see this kind of hate when it happens." So the rest of his statement goes on. "For example, I concussed Randy Orton in 2012 after hitting him with what was supposed to be a chair to the back. Unfortunately, part of the side hit him in the back of the head, and he was forced to miss a pay-per-view. In 2009, in our last match against each other, I concussed Nigel McGuinness after doing a dive into him in the crowd where his head hit the floor. And there are others. As for the yes kicks, 2 weeks ago, I accidentally kicked Andrade directly in the head due to a miscommunication on my part. I feel fortunate that he was okay because there are few feelings worse than hitting someone. Despite all of that, never did I receive the backlash Brie did this week. With all the negative things said about my wife, nobody was harder on her than she was on herself. Thank you to the many people who reached out to support her, both publicly and privately. We all wish Liv Morgan a speedy recovery. Hashtag end cyberbullying." My blood is just... Get ready, folks. I'm going to be dropping some stuff, some heavy stuff in a second. But wait. There's more. Brie Bella sound off as well. She had posted a little something on Instagram, and she made sure that she disabled comments so that she didn't have to get notifications, see and read about the stuff. So here's what Brie had to say. "As a first-time mom, I've never experienced unconditional love like this. The way she loves on me, needs me, and makes me feel that I'm her whole world. Her sweet smile makes my day better." Of course, she's talking about her daughter, Birdie. "Her laugh sounds like heaven, and her hugs make my heart skip a beat. We all were babies at one time, filled with innocence, laughter, and love. We never judged, hated, or bullied people. We'd look in the mirror and play peekaboo with ourselves and think our shadow was the best thing ever. We simply just lived. I hope people can find that feeling again. Happiness. Happy people don't waste their time or energy being cyberbullies. Miserable people do. If you aren't living the life you wish, I pray that you find what makes you happy and stop wasting energy promoting hate. For the happy people, silence hate. Don't let it bring you down." And she ends that with a picture of her baby. Looks like the baby's resting on a luggage bag, and there's some nice little stuffed animals. That's a very nice statement. Very nice statement. It is. I'm not ripping into that. But here's where I have a problem with a couple of things. First, let's tackle Daniel Bryan. Look, man, at the end of the day, majority of us, doesn't matter what your gender is, if you're in a relationship, somebody says something that is offensive or whatnot about your significant other or whatnot, you're going to defend your significant other. That's just the first reaction. Hey, they're in the right. They can do no wrong. Unless it's something just, hun, we got to go. You in the wrong here. We got to go. Come on. You go. Let's just go. Go. Come on. Shut up. Let's go. Okay. look, man, that's expected from Daniel Bryan. I'm sure Daniel Bryan reacted to some of the things that maybe he saw with his own two eyes. Because I have to say, with regards to Daniel Bryan, I don't know how he is on Instagram, but it seems like with regards to Twitter, he's usually just, and on Facebook, he's usually just promoting stuff. Maybe upcoming appearances, or hey, watch SmackDown tonight, cause blah, 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 blah. If he's doing more intimate stuff, maybe it's on Instagram. I don't know anything about it, okay? But I get Daniel Bryan seeing what he probably was seeing, Brie coming back to him, and oh my God, look at what some of these people are saying, or look at what these people, grouping everybody together, look at what these people are saying. So, you know what, Daniel Bryan, hey, that would be us as well. Let's not fake. Let's own that. Doesn't matter what your gender is. We would be in Daniel Bryan's position. What else is Daniel Bryan supposed to say? However, considering that Daniel Bryan is a in-ring veteran for 20 plus years now, it is kind of, well, damn. Brie Bella, she wants to learn a thing or two. She knows exactly who to go to. She's married to one of the best when it comes to pro wrestling. Surely Daniel Bryan, well, of all people, but see, here's the thing. Sadly, even when a woman is right, guys know that, you know what? I need to be in her corner, because if I, of all people, jump out there and be like, honey, you actually were kind of in the wrong because XYZ. Yeah, enjoy sleeping on that sofa for the next couple of weeks, bud. Right? So it's like, wow, you too, you're part of this as well. I give you a perfect example. I was going to talk about this until much later on during the broadcast, but it reminds me of the latest episode that premiered of Better Call Saul on AMC. And we see Jimmy, and forgive me if I'm maybe putting some spoilers out there for people that didn't catch it on their DVR yet, but I got to go there because it is basically validating the point that I'm bringing up here. So stay with me. But Jimmy, the year is now up. He's trying to go back, get his lawyer license. And he's like, oh my God, I can't wait. Hey, when I get this, Kim, look, it could be you and me again. We'll have our own respective practice. And like each episode, every single time Jimmy brings it up, Kim has this numb look on her face. Like, I really don't want to do that. Yeah, I'm happy for you, but I really don't want to do that. And she tries to with kid gloves, right? And so Jimmy, he finally goes, has this hearing, and there's like 3 people. They're basically looking over his paperwork, seeing what he's been doing since he was suspended without his license for the year. And one individual, they asked him all the, questions like it was a job interview, hey, have you been brushing up on your law legal terms? And I mean, he was just shining throughout the interview process. And then one person says to him, it's a young girl, she says to him, what does the law mean to you? And Jimmy kind of fumbles with that. But the way that he answered it and he spun it, it was like, now, if you've been following this series, you're saying to yourself, Jimmy, they've got your jacket. They know that you lost your older brother. And probably what one of these, I'll just call them judges or whatever, what one of these guys is looking for, if not all 3, they're looking for you to bring up your brother and talk about how much of a profound impact that had on you and your life. And, how in his memory, you're trying to do the best humanly possible to really be there for clients, care for them, blah, 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 blah. So he doesn't bring up his brother dying. And the way that his brother died was really messed up, and he never brings it up. So by the time Jimmy sees Kim, he tells Kim what all had went down, and Kim basically says, wait, that's all you had said? And he's like, yeah, the nerve of those guys. Can you believe that? Now, flip it. Brie Bella's reading what she's reading. Daniel Bryan hears about it. Whether some of it is warranted, some of it is justified or not, that's a slippery slope. Most people would maybe give it to you right between the eyes and say, hey, I got to be for real with you. No, it's going to break your heart, but they kind of got a point, and here's the reasons why. Or you just go on ahead and you ride it out. You let them talk it out, and yeah, I'm mad right along with you. And here's a case right here where Jimmy tells Kim everything that he said, everything that went down at the hearing, and then Kim comes right back and says, well, that's why they denied you. They denied you because you didn't bring up Howard. That's why you got denied. Think about it. And Jimmy's like, what the hell does my dead brother have to do with... Right? She could have easily let that go. She could have been rooting in his corner and just, yeah, screw them. They're wrong, blah, 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 blah. But instead, she gave it to him straight. Some people just cannot handle constructive criticism well. There's a big difference between constructive criticism and cyberbullying, hate speech, whatever you want to call it. Okay? Now, let me tell you something. That's Daniel Bryan. I get his part. Let's come back to Brie. Unless it changed hours, days after. What I saw initially after Brie Bella had did those unfortunate kicks to the face of Liv, what I saw unanimously was, my God, please don't wrestle again. You keep hurting people. Please go back, get more training. Don't get back in the ring unless you're ready. Please, you're a hazard right now. Please just stay away from the ring. Those were the type of comments that I had saw. You know what else? What baffles me? What baffles me right now? Not fucking once have I heard Brie Bella take self-accountability for her actions. I'm always, and this is the day and age that we're in right now. Everybody wants to point the finger at other people whenever something does not go right in their world. It's everybody else's fault. Dude, I am so down with accidents happen. I really am. But when does the self-accountability come in from the standpoint of, okay, look, if I'm a pro wrestler, and before, yeah, but you're not a pro wrestler. You know what? I might not be a pro wrestler, but God damn it, I have friends that are involved in the business, friends that used to be involved in the business, and I picked their brains all on this. And all of them pretty much unanimously were right there with my mentality, right? Which is this. If you're a pro wrestler, you don't really realize that 1 week you did this to this opponent. In that same week, you did this in this match in this town. The next week, you did this. The next week, you did that. All of these things are stringing along. Now, you can only make excuses, but for so long. Okay? You can only legitimately try to justify, well, that happened because there's only but so many of those you can put out there before you just have to take self-accountability. Now, I appreciate in the one interview where Brie had talked about one of those suicide dive between the ropes that she had did. One of those suicide dive between the ropes that she did, she said, hey, I miscalculated, honestly, after I had gave birth, I'm in shape, but I'm not in ring shape. Okay. There was another suicide dive that had went down, but that one, I remember that actually was not her fault. But the one where she just botched it all up, that definitely was on her. But hey, she's saying that a little bit of the baby weight, she's in shape, but she's not in ring shape. I hear that all the time. You can be in shape all you want, but if you're not in ring shape ready, you're going to blow out. And she talked about being blown out. Okay. All right. I can give you that, Brie. No problem. It's no problem. But what fans what some pro wrestlers are looking at in the case of Brie Bella is, here are these strings of botches. Here are these strings of accidents that are happening very frequent. Perfect example. It's like my girl's dad. My girl's dad. This was hilarious. I'll never forget, and this isn't a long story. I'll never forget when my girl's dad, when my girl had got her car a couple of years back. The insurance company that she eventually went with, they said, "Oh, Tammy, your dad is so-and-so?" "Yeah." "Who? Well, wait a minute now. We'll give you insurance, but you got to reassure us that he's not going to be driving your vehicles. Because if he's going to be driving your vehicles, we're going to turn you away." And the reason why, he had gotten into so many accidents. I mean, he was doing like 2 accidents a year for, I can't remember what period of time, but he was doing like 2 accidents a year. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that's kind of bad, right? Now, it's one thing if you have 1 accident every 3, 4, 5 years. Then it's kind of like, okay, and other than that, you never been pulled for speeding, you never got a ticket or anything. Okay, 1 accident every 3, 4, 5 years. Okay, that ain't too bad. I can kind of work with that, right? But to get into 2 accidents every year for like consecutive years, it's kind of like, okay. So it's one thing if Brie Bella, hey, 12 months out of the year, out of those 12 months, there was only 2 instances where she had some spots. It's like, okay. But then you go, well, sadly for Brie, that's not the case, because consecutive weeks, and as you saw on this Monday's Raw, they made sure that Brie and Nikki did not wrestle. But we'll see what happens in Australia, yeah? We'll definitely be seeing what's going on with that. But when you string them together the way that she has stringed them together since she's been back, that's what the fans have been noticing. That is the backlash that she is feeling. Now, look, man, I know that you legitimately, I've seen with my own 2 eyes, I have seen people, since this accident, I have seen people say to Brie and Nikki Bella, go kill yourselves. Now, I don't believe that type of talk should be happening on social media. It is not the end of the fucking world. And I'm sorry, but if I'm going to tell you guys, hey, treat everyone with respect and all of that, the same thing goes. I don't care how you may dislike the Bella twins, or, well, Nikki's your favorite, but Brie sucks, or whatever the case may be. I'm sorry. I would tell you, the RCWR Nation, to, if you're going to be a fan of this show, I would like to think that you guys are better than that. I would like to think that you guys are better than to say despicable words like that to another individual. It's one thing if you say to them, hey, I really think you should consider maybe retiring, or maybe just going back to the performance center and get, I don't know, some additional training, because obviously you're showing a little bit too much ring rust. You're not as on point as you were in previous years, because in previous years you had less botches than what's going on since you've been back so far, and you ain't even tallied up 3 months yet, right? It's like I said on this show last week, there is going to be a mutiny if she does not nip this in the bud. And this is where the self-accountability comes in. You don't point the finger, and granted, I've seen it with my own 2 eyes, but if I were a betting man and I were to drop some money down, I bet you a vast majority of people weren't sending her death threats and all of this other crap. I bet you, if anything, people were like, my God, man, you fucking suck. You keep fucking up in the ring. Won't you go back home and just go be a mother, right? That's not cyberbullying. That's just a piece of harsh criticism. And there's a big difference between harsh criticism and cyberbullying. Okay. So to try to hide behind that word cyberbullying, no, take self-accountability. It's no different than if you're at work. If you're at work and it was your responsibility to do XYZ and you did not fulfill XYZ to its maximum, whose fault is that? Who is that supervisor and or manager gonna be coming to find out, hey, why didn't XYZ happen? You were supposed to do XYZ. Why did these not happen? What went down? You ain't gonna be pointing the finger and, well, this had and no. At the end of the day, it's all about self-accountability. Hey, XYZ did not get done because and you better have a damn good reason why those tasks did not get performed. Right? It's all about self-accountability. It's no different than if I fucking get on the train and, I don't know, my wallet slips out of my pocket. And before I get off the train, I don't make sure that I have all my personal belongings on me. If I get off that train, oh my God, I left my fucking wallet on the train. Like, whose fault is that? That's my fault, is it not? I mean, my God, the transit system, they get on the PA and they say, this is blah, blah, blah. Please make sure you have all of your personal belongings. Thank you for riding with us. Enjoy your day. Well, if I'm not PA system or not, if I'm not before I get off that train, if I'm not, what? I'm going to blame the transit authority? What am I going to say? Hey, there wasn't a more convenient seat or am I going to blame, I don't know, the people that made my pants that day? Guess or Lee Jeans? What am I going to be like, hey, Lee Jeans, I lost a wallet because you guys fucking pockets suck? Or no, self-accountability. It's like, hey, I did not fucking make sure that my wallet was on me before I left this train. And as a result, my dumbass left my wallet on my train. Or on the train, not my train, but I left it on the train. It's all about self-accountability. And I think what more and more people have been looking for, in particular from Brie Bella, is self-accountability. Oh, sorry. And then when I say self-accountability from the standpoint of, hey guys, and I'm tired of this whole fucking cop-out of accidents happen. And that seems to be on the tip of the tongue for all the wrestlers that's been talking about this. Taz and Tommy Dreamer and Bully Ray. Oh, accidents happen. Accidents, no shit, accidents happen. Right? But none of them are tackling what is really at hand, which is, since this girl has been back, you're able to string up consecutive weeks. How do you ignore that? Is your balls in the WWE vice that you're trying to make sure that you play it okay because you see WWE is doing these big things, messing around with other countries, and they're bringing in some decent money, and you want to eventually get that call? Maybe you're hoping you can get that call so you can get a nice little payday? You're not keeping it real? I know one guy that would definitely keep it real, and that's superstar Billy Graham. I know he would keep it real. I'm sure to a certain degree, Mick Foley, if he hasn't said anything yet, I'm sure Mick Foley would probably say something. He would probably keep it real. Self-accountability, I feel, is lacking in wrestling when it comes to manning up to your mistakes. I personally feel that if Brie Bella would have said, I am so sorry for what happened to my colleague Liv Morgan. Accidents can and will happen, but I have to be honest to myself, and I have to be honest to you, my fans, which is, I'm noticing it. Since I've been back, my timing has been off. I've been a little bit beyond rusty in that ring. And I promise you guys, after what had went down tonight with Liv Morgan, I am definitely going to be making sure I get additional training. even when I'm away from the ring. If I can get it at the performance center, great. If Daniel can help me, great. But I'm definitely more dedicated now more than ever to make sure that I give you guys the absolute best, and I'm not going in there half-assing it. I promise you guys, just have a little bit more patience with me. Appreciate the support. Please, nothing but love, thoughts to Liv Morgan. But I definitely will be more on point from here on out. Trust me on that, folks. Understand you guys' opinions on this. For some of you guys, this statement may not mean that much, but I hope to a majority, you take what I'm saying to the heart. And honestly, I think if she would have came out there with that type of a powerful statement, I think she would have received a lot less heat, a lot less flack from people online. So, my advice to Brie, and I said this last week and I'm gonna stay to it this week. Yes, Brie, I get it. Accidents happen, and I'm sure that there were probably some people, I read it with my own two eyes. I'm sure that there were probably some people that legitimately were like, go kill yourself. And I get that form of cyberbullying, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't just cherry pick and say, oh, well, I was reading this stuff, and okay, well, what do you say to the people that are telling you, hey, we're your critics here. We're the ones that you're trying to please, and we're telling you every time you're on our screen, this is what's happening. To that, what do you say? What steps are you taking to make sure that this is rectified? You can't just, and that's what she's doing. She's jumping over that. Sad. Frustrating. Very, very frustrating. I have to tell you.